Okay, well, we got the little Suffolk looking a lot better now. Cleaned up all of the crankcase and took the barrel off and sprayed it all, and then just tightening these bolts up, and I was just starting to tighten up the one at the back, and it sheared at the top. Not sure why, so I'm going to have to take the barrel again and get that one out. But didn't even snap right at the bottom or anything. It's just almost like it was already cracked and ready to go. Strange. So I've got to take it off again now. Bugger. And then I've got to try and find another thread. Might be able to get the nut off of that, but we shall see. So yeah, I've got to take it all off again. Bugger me. Just when I got it to turn over really nicely as well. Oh, there's our broken stud. Yeah, well, very interesting. See a couple of little scores on this side of the piston, and a few down this side as well. Very typical on old two-strokes. Seem to find that quite a bit. Definitely not the worst I've seen. The old Jack Model 80 was certainly a lot worse than that. Anyway, let's try and get this stud out now and see if we can find a new one. Oh well, it came out nice and easy, so no real problems there. But there she is. Sheared straight off. Interesting. Not sure if we might have a somewhat replacement in here or not. We shall see. Well, that's handy. The first bolt I pull out of the pile of nuts and bolts is a direct replacement. So we'll get the top cut for that and get all this replaced. But I'm still looking at these crankcase halves. Looks like they may have slipped slightly. So I'm going to have to see if I can straighten those out. That's really peculiar. But it looks like, even with the gasket, it was always offset slightly. But yeah, we'll see. See if we can get the crankcase halves to line up a bit better. I haven't actually split them apart or anything. I couldn't split them apart, so I didn't bother. I did take the nuts and bolts out though, so maybe it slipped slightly, but we should be able to sort that out now. Okay, well, we've worked up a new stud and nut, which should perfectly match the originals, so we're just going to thread that into the block now and get the barrel back on. Okay, well, there's the new stud in place, and nobody will be none the wiser. So pretty pleased with that. So now we just got to get the barrel back on in the correct position. Okay, well, the barrel is actually back in place, and I'm pretty sure it's the right way around. I hope, anyway. And the only thing we've got to clean up for now for the actual block is just this inlet tube, which goes on here, exit out to the back, which definitely means the barrel's on the right way, because if it was, it would exit out the front, which isn't right. Where the engine's clamped back in the vise. Just tightened up these bolts now, so it's all tightened down, and the engine rotates fairly freely, so there's no real tight spots or anything. It's very nice and free. Yep, not bad at all. Right, well, gonna get that tube back on now for the inlet. It shined up quite nicely actually, but you won't be able to see it because it'll be covered up by the cowling. Oh well. But I'm pretty sure I've got it all back together as it should be. I remember showing it on this side and fiddling the exhaust on this side, so I'm pretty sure it's right. So yeah, we're going to put this tube back on. There we go, that's the tube back on for the intake. The exhaust I've still got to paint up and sand back, so yeah, but the barrel and everything's looking pretty good. And yeah, spinning freely. Not bad. Not bad at all. Right, oh yeah, one thing I was going to say. The cooling on this engine. At first I thought it didn't have any at all, but A person on the forum pointed out that the flywheels do have a little sort of like fan cover. The actual flywheel cover acts as its fan, and what it does is it obviously the flywheel and fans on this side, so air is pushed through the bottom of the engine here, so that's why there's fins on the bottom of the crankcase. Then it goes around the cowling, so the cowling's on this side, goes around the cowling and back out the top up here, so it enters here and exits up here. Very strange, but yeah, that's another fairly interesting sort of design feature of these two-stroke Suffolk engines. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to make a head gasket now, just to go around this bit here. It doesn't appear to have had one, but I'm going to put one on it anyway, just because I think it would stop bending the head, which is already a little bit warped. You can see here this fin here is bent down, so you can imagine that's sitting on top of the engine there. You can quite clearly see that fin there is bent down, and that had actually distorted the sort of surface of the head, so I've had to file that down a little bit and get it to sit as flush as possible. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. We should be able to get away with it. So it just sits on there. A couple of these things are bent. I had to go at straightening them, but they just seem to flex an awful lot, and I'm pretty sure if I tried to straighten them anymore they'd probably just snap off, so I'm going to leave them like that whilst they're all still actually intact. But yeah, we're going to make a little head gasket now for it, and then the actual block will be finished, and then it's just setting up the ignition, making some way of mounting it, spraying the cowling, and yeah, sorting out the petrol tank as well. So not a great deal to do, but I'm going to take my time with it. I decided to get these bits done today, and everything was coming off nicely. The only problem was that stud, which randomly decided to break, not whilst I was doing it up tight, not whilst I was loosening it either, just when I was starting to put the nut on. It was threaded on fine and everything, and then it just decided to go. But we replaced that with no trouble at all. That was a 5-minute job. Anyway, we'll get the head gasket done now. Okay, well, the Suffolk is starting to come along nicely now. Got the exhaust sprayed and mounted back onto the engine just temporarily. It's got to come off to fit the shrouding. The cylinder head could probably do with a bit more shining up, but you can't really see it, and it is really hard to get into all the little grooves. So we're probably going to leave that like that for now. The cowling, stripped all the paint off the front and as much of the paint inside as possible, and because you can, obviously the engine, the front of the engine is well, that'll be the front, so you can see inside there, so it's important to spray inside there. So we are going to try and get a coat of the red primer on there now, and see how it takes to this casing. So yeah, that's basically where we are with the Suffolk. Spent most of the day clearing up the workshop and doing a few little other things, so all the workbench is clear so we can actually do stuff, and it all looks pretty tidy outside as well, so not too bad. And yeah, got all of the inlet manifold on there as well, new gasket on there, put 2 homemade head gaskets in here just to close up the gap. The head bolts probably need a bit more tightening down. Probably going to have to try and give it some sort of run without the cowling on, so I can although I probably can just run it for about 10 odd minutes with the cowling on, then slide the engine back out of the cowling and tighten up the head bolts again. Try that, I suppose. But to do that, I'm going to have to take off the exhaust again, so to do that the engine's going to have to cool down. So we may have to try and give it some form of quick run, perhaps clamped in the vice or something. We shall have to wait and see how we're going to go about doing that. But let's try and get a bit of paint in there, and then we can bring it in, let it dry, and that should be about it for now with the Suffolk. We can't do much whilst the paint is drying other than look at the petrol tank, but I can't get the cap off of the petrol tank, so I think I'm going to have to cut it and try and find a small replacement cap for it. But anyway, let's get this painted. Okay, well, that's the first coat of the red primer on the inside, and pretty pleased with how that turned out. Yeah, not bad at all. Just put a little bit of spray on these bits here that I wouldn't be able to get to with the cowling turned over. So yeah, but I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. That's just the primer. Then we got some red to go over that. So yeah, it should look pretty good, I think.